Elon Musk and Vladimir Zelensky, why shouldn't we trust these media-created heroes? The same media that lied to us about the pandemic, the origin of the virus, safety of the jabs, about the motives of those promoting health passports, that media. They're now busy creating media heroes out of Elon Musk and Vladimir Zelensky. I am very suspicious of both of them, and this channel recommends that you be as well. Why is the media doing this? It certainly has ulterior motives. There is something behind this. In this video, we're going to explore what that might be. Now, it's our opinion that every major event that we have seen in the past 2 years, the pandemic, race riots, the contested election, the inflation spiral, and now the Ukraine conflict have all been orchestrated, in part at least, by the globalists, the UN and the World Economic Forum, to move the world toward a great reset, a socialist takeover of all the assets of all the people, where, as the World Economic Forum leader Klaus Schwab often says, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Sorry, Klaus. I think what you're really saying is you will own nothing and you will be our slaves. Yeah, I think that's what it's really about. And the leadership of governments and the media are part of this move to a one-world government. I mean, what more proof do you need than President Biden's slogan, Build Back Better, which is the same as the World Economic Forum slogan for the Great Reset? I mean, come on. But conservative politicians are in on this as well. When was the last time you heard one of these guys warning you about the Great Reset? Right, never. So they're in on it too. Which brings us to the new media heroes, Zelensky and Musk. According to Pew Research, Zelensky has a 72% positive confidence rating with Americans, which is double what they have for their own president, voicing some or a lot of confidence in the Ukrainian, who is often portrayed in military fatigues or even just a t-shirt, sometimes unshaven, a regular guy, a man of the people. Here are some media reactions to him. Zelensky's speech in Russian, directed to the Russian people, was one of the most moving things I've heard in a long time. It will be discussed and remembered for a long time. End of quote. Quote, Zelensky was again a man in character, this time playing David to the Russian president's Vladimir Putin's Goliath, in a dark green t-shirt with dark circles under his eyes. End of quote. Media icons like Sean Penn said this, quote, in him I saw something I'd never seen before. Penn said, it's clear to me that the Ukrainians will win this, end of quote. Despite the fact that Ukraine is fighting a madman of sorts in Putin, the praises for Zelensky are just too over the top for me. It seems like they're trying to create a hero. Why? What do the globalists have planned for him? And yes, Zelensky is a globalist with a bio on the World Economic Forum website. He's someone who actually has been a speaker at the Davos meetings. He is one of them. And he is right in the middle of a conflict that is about propelling the Great Reset into place. Here's what Deseret News says, quote, something unexpected happened. Russia invaded Ukraine, and the conflict displaced COVID-19 as the world's most urgent concern. But instead of sidelining conversation about a great reset, the Ukraine crisis has intensified it, and here's why. A brutal military operation in Eastern Europe has Americans worried about how it will affect their lives, whether or not the U.S. at some point gets drawn into the war. So a one-world government is sounding better and better all the time to them. A Ukrainian has been famously quoted as saying this about the war, quote, we are fighting for the New World Order, end of quote. And yes, they are. Interestingly, Putin is vehemently opposed to the Great Reset. He wants to maintain his power and money. He knows if there's a great reset, he can lose both, maybe even his life. So this war is in reality a war between the globalists and the existing totalitarian governments like Russia and Iran, who want no part of a global reset. They want to keep their power. It may be a war to keep their lives. So if Putin is fighting for his own life, is it any wonder that he's talking about things like nuclear weapons? Now, Zelensky, on the other hand, is a poster boy for the globalist causes. The case is laid out by the German news site Wochenblick in an article entitled, "In the Shadow of War, Ukraine as the Great Reset Laboratory of the Global Elite." The author notes that those pushing for a radical restructuring of the world have long had their sights on Ukraine. With vigorous participation from Zelensky, Ukraine became a mecca for U.S. bioweapons labs and paved the way for digital networking, the metaverse, and digital ID. Zelensky's government rolled out an app known as Deceive, the acronym for the government and me. I don't know if I want something about the government and me. That's not a relationship I'm really crazy about. But anyway, I digress. Shortly after Zelensky took office, the country's Ministry of Digital Transformation, wow, I don't really like the name of that committee or organization or whatever it is either. Anyway, it was formed and tasked with the creating of a government platform for smartphones. After striking deals with Microsoft and Apple, DAIA, as it's known, now has more than 50 applications devoted to online identifications, driver's licenses, student IDs, COVID vaccination passports, business and insurance applications, and the management of all kinds of social benefits. Ukraine's approach to DAIA is similar to China's social credit system. Its tentacles are everywhere. So how will the World Economic Forum and the rest of the globalists use Zelensky? It appears obvious to this channel that he is being set up by the media to play a bigger role than just president of Ukraine. The globalists are likely to want to ride his popularity and attach him to their favorite causes. Doesn't that make sense? Make a hero and then attach him to your causes. Although it's just speculation, I wouldn't be surprised to see Zelensky become one of the United Nations thought leaders. For those of you following this channel, you already know that the UN has released a document showing their plans to move forward and move up a system of global governance sometime in 2023. It's moving it from 2030. You've heard of Agenda 2030. They're now moving that agenda to 2023. The nations will surrender their sovereignty and give it to a group that the UN calls thought leaders. According to the UN documents, these people will be the heads of corporations. Think of Gates, Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, and former heads of governments. Think Obama. These are not the most popular or trusted guys on the planet. I guess I don't have to tell you that. So it's our opinion. But that is where Zelensky is going to come in. He will join this group, give it an air of acceptability with his popularity. So whether Ukraine wins or loses, Zelensky will likely be tapped for a role like that. He's perfect for that role. A war hero, somebody like George Washington in the United States. Perfect for a world leadership position. Now, this doesn't diminish the suffering of the poor Ukrainian people who've been dragged into this struggle and are being slaughtered. However, as you can see, the conflict is feeding the agenda of the Great Reset and the globalists. Now, where does Elon Musk fit into this globalist plan? To which you might say, hey, wait a minute, hands off Musk. He just took over Twitter to make the site free for free speech. He is going to help our cause. Well, we'll see. But think about this for a minute. Twitter is the world's town square, according to Musk. It's where opinions are discussed and formulated. However, because of the censorship of the past 4 or 5 years, Twitter is completely distrusted by at least half of the world's population. Similar theme to Zelensky, huh? The globalists would love to build back Twitter's reputation so they can use it again for propaganda, because right now, half the world isn't even listening to it. Enter Elon Musk. Now, I cannot say for certain this is why Musk was allowed to buy Twitter, but it seems likely. To enter into a more stealth version of censorship and propaganda to allow the true globalist agenda to move forward without appearing too obvious. Pretty slick if that's what they're doing. Might Musk end up to be one of the UN thought leaders as well? Well, I think it entirely likely. I'd already put him up in the list of those billionaires who might be considered. So let's see what Musk actually supports if he's going to play this role. He calls himself the Dogecoin father and supports digital currency. So there's one globalist idea that he supports. Musk is the founder of Neuralink, a company dedicated to establishing human brain-to-computer interface, which you know is the ultimate final goal of the globalists, to control the thoughts of humans, the ultimate control. Musk is the founder of Tesla, and electric vehicles are very important to the globalists and the globalist agenda, ostensibly for environmental reasons, but really because they can be remotely controlled and automatically shut off. Plus, they can spy on everyone, anywhere a person goes and what they say in the vehicle. Tesla even has a camera that films the inside of the vehicle while the vehicle is turned on. They even see what you're doing. They might be even able to read what's on your phone. I don't know. Then, of course, there is the SpaceX endeavor. Musk is a believer in aliens and UFOs, and somehow this channel believes he will be involved in some sort of alien deception in the end times. This channel believes that what we call aliens are actually fallen angels and demons. So, is there a satanic connection here? Very likely. The other thing that Musk has going for him is that he's an outspoken critic of the World Economic Forum, and especially their ESG, Environment Social Governance Scoring System for corporations, which Musk calls a social credit score just for corporations, not people. Being a critic of the World Economic Forum kind of makes people trust him more. However, when you look at the companies he's in and what he wants to do, like computer-to-brain interfaces, really, he's a globalist. He even went to the World Economic School for emerging young globalists. His outward critiques of some of their efforts endears him to the very people that globalists want to sway to their globalist side. In our opinion, that's exactly what Musk and Zelensky's roles are planned to be. Being heroes to sway the people towards the Great Reset, and then eventually to the allowing of their brains to be connected to computers. These are the two main goals of the globalists: Great Reset, brain-to-computer interface. In fact, the ultimate goal of the globalists is that last one, the computer-to-brain interface. If your computer is telling a person what to do and when to do it, there is no longer any need for any other control means. You have complete control at that point. This interface may even have something to do with the mark of the beast and the mysterious image of the beast as well. Click right here to learn more about how this interface may explain these controversial biblical prophecies, how they might lead to a situation where a person can no longer repent and is eternally damned. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.